On this episode, we talk about whether Christians who are so divided can work together on issues of social justice.
Welcome to the award-winning TGI Monday show. Very exciting last weekend. Most of us were in London for the Premier Digital Awards. And Dan, do you want to just pick up the award?
No, don't
pick up the
Simon
award.
Will go mad.
Simon's
okay. I'm always in trouble for moving the props in the
Sorry, we won't move the award. We won an award for
last Saturday night for moving the
Sorry, yeah, that's true. We won the award for
the most innovative use of digital
media.
There we go. Most creative use of digital media.
When you sit down, take a seat, Simon. I'll take a camera.
I'm sitting there.
Yeah. Turn the camera around.
So we're very excited about that. I don't think we're going to do anything new and creative from now on, are we? This is pretty much just...
No, that's it now, isn't it?
Burns out, that was it, that was our...
And as well.
There is so much change coming.
There is quite a lot of change.
That's very
The most
true.
important thing as well, though, is Wales beat their 5-match losing streak by beating Argentina on Saturday as well, which is really good.
Did you bring some kind of token or trophy?
Excellent.
Excuse me.
And so I think that leads us quite well into our question.
Yes.
So this is a question from Mike Cross, who I believe, do you know Zoe?
Yes, I do.
You've met him. He asked this question for the show. How is it possible for Christians who take different views on social and justice issues to campaign effectively whilst maintaining Christian unity? Great question. It's not about rugby, but the same issue of Christian unity may be applied in all kinds of different ways, perhaps.
Really?
Well, maybe. So, how is it possible for Christians who take different views on social and justice issues to campaign effectively and maintain Christian unity? It's a really good question, isn't it? Because Christians do think quite differently on a lot of things. I mean, we think differently as a panel on quite a few things.
Yeah.
Howell, you show us which prop you brought in.
No, don't move it.
Sorry.
Don't move it.
Oh,
there we go. So obviously,
There you go.
I think
I
this
do not support Donald Trump, though. That's a joke prop. All right,
excellent.
Yeah?
But it
Just have to say that.
has been a real shock, I think, to a lot of people to see not just that people voted for Donald Trump, but actually that Christians were voting for him. And for some Christians, that's felt like, how on earth could anyone who is a Christian support somebody like him? Whereas there were other Christians who were saying, well, how on earth could a Christian vote for Hillary? And it just shows actually the diversity that there is. So where do we start with this? How is it possible to take different views on things but still have Christian unity? So you're involved in various campaigning things. Does this issue come up in what you're doing?
Yes, a little bit. Mike is someone who's involved in Justice Mail, so the online campaigning Christians thing. And yes, it does. And the way we approach it as an organisation, because actually what we're not trying to do is indoctrinate anyone into having a particular, because if it were up to me, everybody would be leaning on the left by miles. But it isn't up to me, and that's crucially quite important. So instead, we choose a range of different campaigns, and that's how Justice Mail works. So we once a year put together a list of campaigning organisations that actually represent real breadth. So our most recent campaign was the Greenpeace campaign to ban those microbeads from toothpaste.
Oh, yeah.
So there's stuff that we can definitely quite comfortably get behind, a lot of stuff, but actually allowing for that diversity to exist doesn't, otherwise it stops you from doing anything.
That's one of the things I really like about Justice Mail is you get the email with here's some things, but then it's up to you as you read it to decide whether you want to go and sign the petition or support the campaign or whatever.
You can just ignore that one.
There's no assumption that we'll all want to do everything, but it's just so that you're aware of different things. Do you find there are particular issues that maybe divide people in your churches on this kind of thing? Are there people who are really wanting to campaign for X, Y, and Z, and others who are just kind of, I don't think we should support that?
I think most people are just sort of disillusioned with the whole thing, to be fair.
Sure.
So the real problem perhaps we have sometimes is getting past that sort of despair, and I think that politics in general, like Andrew was saying the other week, that in the bidding prayers they prayed for Christians in the US to make a wise choice in supporting either Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. And he said, I didn't say, Lord have mercy for that, because I don't think there should be either of them.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is with it is a lot of the time it's that disillusionment. Now he's 12.
Yeah.
And I think that's the fundamental problem. And the way in which politics is done and the way in which campaigning is done is so negative a lot of the time. Not just to Smile, but in general.
Yeah.
It can be quite sort of...
Yeah, and I think you're right. There is that huge sense of actually whatever I do doesn't make any difference at all anyway. How do we, as Christians, encourage people to feel that they can make a difference, that what they do is worthwhile?
Where there is a very obvious need, we can all come together. So food banks, debt centres, giving Wonga a bloody nose. None of us really disagree on all of that. In fact, we can see in the immediate that there is something that we can all work together towards.
Yeah.
On bigger socio-political issues where we're going to disagree, are we able to work together? No, we can't, absolutely not. There's not a chance I can work with a lot of the things that are coming out of the church. I read some of the tweets from the bishops and my eyes start bleeding, and I can't get behind that. But in terms of the day-to-day needs of people on the ground, I mean, Teach Our Monday is an example of people with differences working together in a really positive way, showing that the kingdom of God is beyond all this, it's bigger than all this, and actually because we all have the Holy Spirit within us, we can all be directed in the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the key thing though, isn't it? Is that the difference in the world, it's all about being right. Yeah, and that's what we see in a lot of the time in protesting, which is a lot of fun. I used to do a bit of that years ago, a bit of fun. Is the idea to be right. And I'm right, and I'm good, and they're evil, and they're bad. And I think what we need to be as Christians is good.
And do you know
we're
what?
Not called to be right. We're called to be good.
And that's exactly right. And that was a description of the Pharisees you just gave. These were people who were virtue signalling their own righteousness, and they were morally shaming everybody else. And that's the trouble. Is when we start getting into that, we lose our faith, and we become the exact people that Jesus told us not to be.
And that itself makes people then feel that sense of, oh, what's the point? Look away. But actually, it's more important. The Christian disciple has to feel hopeful, and that's why Just Ismail exists, because actually, like never before, there's ways of getting involved in powerful ways. So online campaigns. I was listening to something on the way here that there was 1 million people had signed a petition for. It's not going to come back to me, but but it's something along the lines of an environmental issue.
Okay.
But people had got together and really were looking at changing things pretty fast.
Yeah.
But actually, because we can be empowered pretty quickly, can't we?
But
I agree. I think
what's missing, though, I think more than anything else, is vision.
Yeah.
And I think what we're doing now a lot of the time is focusing on specific little issues rather than an overarching vision and story.
Yeah.
And what Christianity can give is that overarching vision and story.
So
and how that is related into the everyday is a different thing.
So I watched a little thing a week or so ago, which I will put a link to after this, which I just thought was brilliant. It's a little Christian video encouraging Christians to become more involved in politics and, on any side. And just using the example of the story, the parable of the Good Samaritan, and saying actually as Christians, often we're quite good at helping the bloke who's been beaten up by the side of the road and providing the food banks and the debt relief and all that sort of stuff. But we're less good at stepping back and saying, well, where are the street lights on the Jordan Road?
Yeah, we need to go up road, don't we?
Yeah,
Those
and
are
actually,
difficult questions,
those
and that's where we
systemic
find it harder
issues,
to agree.
we might not agree, but we can still, as individual Christians, get involved and actually step back and say, there is that bigger picture that we need to think about, the sort of society we want to be, and
but
let's
we don't
make a
agree,
difference.
that's the trouble, we don't agree on the sort of society we want to be. We can agree on the values, but the road to get there is different. And the Bible doesn't give us a political road to get there. That's the responsibility on us.
Yeah, I think that's right. One of the verses I really love, and I can never remember what the reference is, but it's in Ephesians 4, where Paul talks about grasping how high and deep and wide and long the depth of God's love is, together with all the saints. Because actually it is something that as individuals we can never grasp. It's too big for us. And something I want to say about Christian unity is it's about learning from each other, even when we disagree. To be able to listen and say their perspective is as important as mine. We need to come to a close there, but do let us know what you think about that. Do you find that hard when sometimes groups claim to speak for all Christians but don't represent you? Are there issues you think Christians ought to be better at getting involved in? We'd love to hear your take on that.
I'll issue up as well about ways in which Christians have been good at getting involved.
We'd love to hear.
Yes,
Lots
please.
of that. Yeah.
Yes.
Not like
Lots.
the church. Blah, blah, blah.
Positive.
Yeah, good
Yes.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, tell us
Get
what you're
busy.
doing as well.
positive stuff.
Great.
I'm in so much trouble with the bishops.
You said they make your eyes bleed. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what we had to say, please do share the video with your friends. Follow us, like us, tweet at us, send us your questions.